My lunch date is in the building. Jacklene Arinda is in the building. And well, she looks gorgeous. She looks beautiful. Let us say hi.
Hi to our listeners, and I'm glad to be here, and thank you for hosting me.
Yes, and I always say this over and over again. My lunch dates are all chilled. We're going to chit-chat about everything from leadership, youth empowerment, coffee, and business. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive in. Let's begin off with your journey, honey. Can we talk about your journey just a little bit? Because if I look at leadership, youth empowerment, and coffee and business, that is so much there. How did Arinda start all this?
Well, I'm usually really stuck and confused and challenged when I'm asked to summarize my journey within seconds and minutes, because sometimes it sounds more like a motivational speaker, but it's the truth. Sometimes you're forced to summarize it. But just to say that first, I'm a go-getter. So whatever I land on, I must nail it. I must. If it is to pass through the wall, I'll be like, I'll break it. Doesn't matter. I'll break it. So whatever is on the other side has to be ready for me. So somehow being good at whatever stage you're on or whatever life lands you, you must ensure that you master the game where you are.
Yes.
Understand where you are. Understand what it needs to be where you are to sustain yourself. And once you do that, the next stage, it will be just a walkover. So I started off like any other young girl with a dream. We always dream to be rich. We always dream to be, wealthy. We even don't know even the definition of wealthy or difference between being wealthy and rich.
Yes.
But life throws you to media, and then from media, you're like, I need to go independent, and you land into coffee. But I can tell you that my life started making sense when I became a beauty queen. Yeah.
Miss Tourism,
Yes.
Uncle.
Yeah. That's when I said, wow. So I'm here. I have limelight. I have a platform, and I have all these mentors. Sylvia, she was Miss Uganda. I'm like, what do I need to do with this? So at that point, we had, I think it still is, if you're a reigning queen, you have to do a CSR project.
Yes.
So a CSR project, I'm like, what is that? What does it mean? Remember, I'm at campus, second year. So I'm like, okay, fine, let's do the project. And then I dive in.
Yes.
The biggest challenge was getting sponsors. You know how you understand that you're like, oh, I'm collecting money, fundraising for children to put up a hospital, and you expect everyone to understand it with just one sentence. It doesn't go like that.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's how it trained me how to do marketing, how to do sales, how to close business, how to capture, people's attention when you're in the room. What do you have to say? How do you, So at that level, that's when I learned all these skills that I have acquired over a long period of time, but I have been just sharpening and polishing.
Well, looking at that, did you ever imagine that, from being Miss Tourism Ankole to getting into entrepreneurship, did you at one point, just think that, I will actually be an entrepreneur? Did it ever click in your mind, or it just happened?
Well, I think now, when in life, it's all like a puzzle.
Yes.
You just have pieces.
Yes.
But if you ask me, then I would say, I think I was after money. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be independent. I wanted to own things. So then I was trying, boutiques. You try a boutique, you try a CBO, you try events. I used to organize events, surprisingly.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was looking for something I could do. But I didn't even know that was entrepreneurship. At that level, I didn't even know what entrepreneurship means. Like now, by the way, if you think entrepreneurship is owning a company, I think you're wrong. It's more than that. So at that point, I wanted to start up something that will give me money, something that will give me time, and even up to this day, I think that's why I'm in entrepreneurship, that if Sanyu says, can you be there at 1 p.m., I don't have to say, oh, give me a week, I think about it. No.
Yes.
I needed something that can give me that time to attend to my family, to attend to my friends, even my health. I've seen people who say I'm sick and cannot even get a sick leave. So at that point, no, I didn't. Like I said, I was just living my life at 21, 22.
Yeah.
You're just living your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, looking at that, I've actually realized you're quite passionate about empowering young people.
Oh, yeah.
Can we talk about your works just a little bit on so far the things that you have done for the youth or young people?
Yeah, empowering young people. I'm so passionate about it because when I was young, I think I'm still young. I don't know.
The age is just a number.
It's just a number. But I'm growing old. Now it's even scary.
We never
the
say
age
the
I'm
age.
turning this year is scary.
No one
But
should know.
no one. No one.
Okay.
So when I was growing up, I realized that there's some people that were so, how can I say? I don't want to cry here. But the people that play a role in your life, and you're like, I wish I can do the same to other young people. Because growing up, people have supported me, but now I see people are running away from young people. Everyone says, young people don't want to work. Young people, you can't trust them with money. Young people, you can't trust them with a job. And even when they give them the job, they don't pay them for what they are worth.
Yes.
So I said, I need to support a young person because when I was young, somebody supported me. People supported me. I need to be there for young people. And how have I done that? One is that so far, I have made my door open at Jada Coffee that every Monday and Tuesday. You can walk in and I'll give you all the information you need about the sector.
Yes.
Then we have other, of course, young, like teenagers. Go to teenagers, not young adults, teenagers that walk in and say, oh, Jackie, I admire you. They admire, Instagram has a totally different kind of life. Like when you see my Instagram, you'll be like, Then you come on Twitter, it is war. I'm fighting wars. I'm marketing my business.
Yes.
So a young person, a teenager, will admire the Instagram, but will not admire the Twitter, will not admire your actual work. When they visit you and they find you're busy up and down. So they can, I want to travel. They see your pictures on a plane. They see pictures in hotels. They see pictures in conferences. They're like, that's the kind of life that I admire. So what I do for teenagers is to show them both sides of life. And I'm like, no, I don't live in a vacation life. No. I have to work, and some days are bad. So I help young people to realize that it's not an Instagram life. Life is more of a suffering, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
You have to suffer.
Yeah.
And young people tend to be like, oh, you suffer? Do you have days when you cry? I'm like, I cry. Do you have days when you give up? I do, but I'm not going to post that. So I have done that, mentoring kind of. Now, I have also tried my level best that, especially women, actually. In my company, I buy coffee from women. 40% of the coffee that we buy is from women. And why? It's because women in coffee, actually in agriculture, globally, we have 80% we have 80% of women providing labor at all the farms globally. When it comes to Africa, it even increases. Uganda, we're at 75%. And I guess it's because some work is so manual and men step in. But when it comes to market, who takes the produce to the market? It's the man. So the man puts the money in the pocket. So as Jada Coffee, we said, we will always provide market for women because we don't want them to struggle. The hardest part in you can say in business or entrepreneurship or sales, call it what you can find, but it's finding a market. And people usually think it's money, startup capital. But I tell people you can produce and you have no market. Now imagine a woman deep in the village has harvested her coffee and has no market. Is wondering, where do I take coffee? Now men have all the time in the world, can leave in the morning and return in the evening looking for the market. But a woman has just 30 minutes, either for church or even has just gone to the market to buy groceries. So during that time, that's when they are vendoring their coffee. So you just have to buy their coffee at that point because they have to go back to their families. So as Jada Coffee, we have tried our level best to support women in coffee.
Well, I must say, lots of challenges are definitely happening because with all that you have said, I must say there's a lot going on. So what are those tough challenges that you face on a daily, because somebody may think, okay, she just lays on Instagram, but then they have no idea that, you go through a few challenges going through Jada Coffee and just being a lady from, being a model to being an entrepreneur and all that.
I think to begin with is that being an entrepreneur is hard. Sometimes you doubt yourself.
Yes.
Sometimes you ask yourself whether it's worth it. And that doubt really, really is something that entrepreneurs go through every single day. If there is an entrepreneur who tells you that they are 100% sure of what they are doing in their company, I think, I don't know, they're lying. Yeah, because sometimes you hit the wall and you ask yourself, what can I do?
Yes.
Now, we do not have support groups, I can say. People think support groups are for women who are having domestic issues and then people with drugs. But entrepreneurs, we also need support groups. Yeah, I don't need to run to my mentor. Yes, you say your mentor is supposed to be doing that, but I cannot go to my mentor every single day.
Yes.
I need a group where I know these are entrepreneurs, they're going through the same, and we can share.
Yes.
Number two is the environment, as a country, policies, we don't even understand the policies, and I don't think people even in government understand their policies either, because they come up with policies. I will tell you one that was funny was UCDA recently when it was merged.
Oh, yes.
You sit down and you're like, are these people on the ground or they are just seated in ACs and drafting policies and moving them the way they want? So the business environment itself comes back to you. I remember challenging one of the URA guys and I told them, did you know that agricultural machines are exempted from taxes? And they didn't know. But imagine if they land on an entrepreneur who doesn't know that. They will ask you to pay taxes because for them they are after their targets, their monthly targets or something.
Yeah.
Number three is being a woman.
I know it's a tough world.
Yeah, it's a tough world. And being young, I started a business when I was young. So people tend to think you don't know exactly what you're doing. And even the businesses, being young as a person and being young as a company. Because the big, what you call deals, what I can say, the big contracts are usually given to the already established companies. Now there is a small you that they doubt so much. And you're like, I can deliver. You just have to trust me. They're like, can you tell us which other jobs you've done? But if you can't give me a job, who is going to give me? Give me this. And then another day I will have another client who will ask me for your profile. So being young as a person and being young as a company is a big challenge. But lastly, that the biggest challenge has been the financial muscle.
Oh, yes.
Is that capital is... in Uganda, I think we do not have access to capital easily. Even the projects that come on board, you question them and look at the projects for the government. When you're applying for them, what the requirements, you look at them and you're like, are these requirements targeting young businesses or they are targeting established businesses? But when they're on TV, when they're basically in front of the camera, they are like, we support Muntu Awansi, we support you women, we support I saw Grow Project saying they support women and then they wanted collateral security, which is worth 300 million. And I'm like, is there a small business that has that seated? Because it can get any loan from any bank. If you have an asset worth 300 million, why don't you go? And then they said, oh, we give even as low as 5 million. But you need to bring you show us your records, your cash records. And I said, how does a woman selling tomatoes have cash records? I mean, reports, reports how?
Cannot happen.
Someone comes, gives you cash, and they go. So you're going to ask them for their data.
No.
Are they supposed to sit back on the computer when they come back at 11?
They have no idea how to
teach this. Yeah, don't just sell us projects and just say you're supporting women. So the fact that we do not have enough money to run these companies, it becomes a challenge every single day.
Well, I love the way you've explained that, but then it breaks my heart to see, because you are saying something about, many people prioritize bigger companies. So let's look at Jada just for a bit, because I believe there's some places you've gone to and they have turned you down. And you literally know that your coffee is way better than, the one they choose. Yeah. How do you go by that? Because there could be someone listening in right now and they're like, I go through it every single day. So how do you do it? Jacklene, how do you do it?
You know how I told you I don't give up?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't take no for breakfast now. I don't do that. So one thing I have also realized is networking. In our kind of business, you're not inventing, you're not doing anything unique. So it's your relationship with these people. For example, if I come to Sanyu, how do I convince Sanyu to have my product? Maybe Sanyu is taking another Ugandan product, coffee product. So how do I convince Sanyu? Is one, you start off by giving them offers. You say, I'll give you Jada coffee. Don't pay me. Just have it for a
just test.
Just have that. And number two is one thing that my brand is that when you buy my brand, it's not just any other brand. It's that it gives you the marketing that you are not going to receive.
Yes.
So I do that on social media a lot. Like I will show you Jada Coffee is now in this office. Jada Coffee, we are in this office. So I market my product that even when you're buying Jada Coffee, you get the social media presence. So people want to buy something extra. There is always something extra on your product. You can't just say, I'm selling coffee. Coffee is everywhere.
Yes.
But yes, there are companies that will say no. And you're like, okay, this one I have to walk away. I can't beg for 6 months. Some companies you walk away. But like I said, networking is key.
Yes.
People might not understand this, but I think I'll bring it in this one. I hope it doesn't lose context. When I had Gamba Nogu, I remember telling my other friends, I said, Gamba Nogu is everywhere. Even when you're applying for a job, what happens to the last paragraph or the last page? What do you have there?
The references and all that.
That's your Gamba Nogo.
Yes.
So when you're doing your product and you're going to Sanyu FM, the first thing is who determines what Sanyu FM staff drink?
Yes.
For you might think it is the procurement officer, yet it is the secretary. Companies are funny. You find the secretary is the one who goes to the market and buys coffee because maybe the procurement officer, that is something small for them to determine. So you have to befriend, you have to have information to know who makes the decision to buy this product. Then you look for them. You're like, hi, my name is Jacklene Arinda. Oh, I'm actually a friend to so-and-so. Oh, yeah. By the way, I have coffee.
Oh, that's a smart one.
Yeah. Yes. You have to know who is their friend in your circle. Draw up your map and say, I have 10 friends. Now, these 10 friends, who are their friends?
Yes.
Now, their friends, who are their friends? So, meaning, can I ask her to introduce me to Sanyu? That makes it easier than you coming and answering research questions of what is your product, how different is it, how did it... Those you put them aside. So it is important that you must be able to network. If your friends are there for high, keep them on high. If you don't have friends that can recommend you in other rooms, or alternatively, imagine having your friends and they don't know your kind of business. They can't sell it.
Oh my God.
When they're asked 1, 2, 3 questions, how is Jada Coffee? Oh, your friend to Jackie, yes. How is Jada Coffee? And you're like, no, let me call Jackie for you. No, answer at least 2 or 3 questions.
I know, that's for a friend.
Yeah, you must answer. If you're my friend, you must know my company.
Yes.
But I also think it is my responsibility to tell my friends my business. Also to provide information where I know if you're locked in a room, and you cannot call me, at least you run to our website, at least you run to our social media page, and you know what we do. Some of you are with your friends, and all they know are your boyfriend stories, all they know are your health problems. Basically, that's all they know. They even know your doctors, but they don't know what you do.
Yes. You know, I actually love the way you pointed that out. And well, I could say you really have very good friends, because they say in most cases friends don't buy your product. So how do you go by that? Because many people say, I have a boutique, or I have a company, or there's some service I'm delivering, but no friend. And yet you hang out with them every single day. How do you go by? How do you mix your friendship with business and all that?
I think one is, friendship is a two-way thing. I have bought products that I've never used for my friends. I've supported boutiques. I've supported my friends, that products that I never need, but I just have to support them in a way for them to know that, look, Jackie treasures me. She supports my business. But you cannot wake up in the morning and for you say, I don't drink coffee. That's all on social media. You realize we have a lot of content coming from Ethiopia, coming from Brazil, Guatemala, so many coffee producing countries, and no, Uganda. Uganda, we practically have our PDM parish and, so forth, and what, pigs, what, So there was no coffee anywhere on the global kind of market platforms. You do not see Ugandan coffee, no. So I said, no, I think I need to do better. So I came back and started engaging. I remember by then I used to call Gerard Katabasi. Then there was Uganda Coffee Federation. I was working with the media house, so I used to give them more time. So each time they would be talking, I would pick up and say, oh, that's a challenge I can solve. That I can't. This I can. So I started, investigating and doing research and understanding the sector. I realized there is money. And there was just a gap that we haven't actually filled. But one was marketing, digital presence. Number two is the farmers, how we should link farmers to the bigger markets, and how we can also support farmers, because if you look at a farmer in other producing countries, they are also struggling. But their struggle is not the same as Ugandans. Ours is way below the poverty line, and yet coffee is gold. So I said I must do something different in the coffee sector, and I must earn faster. And I looked at myself. What are you good at? I was good at marketing. I was good at, management. So I said I can start my own company, manage it. I'm so good at startups, by the way. It's very good. I can struggle with any company and build it. So I said, let me start my own coffee company, support farmers, promote Ugandan coffee online, and that's it.
Well, you started Jada Coffee with a strong focus on digital marketing. So what lessons have you learned about using technology to build business in Uganda? And I could say the world is going digital. So what lessons have you learned so far?
One is that digital will save you a lot of money. You know how people be looking for millions and millions to start up a company? With the digital, I can tell you, you can have, you know how they call briefcase businesses? Mine was a briefcase business for 2 years. Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
It was just online, and I used to just deliver. In fact, my border guy that I used to send around to buy me things was my first employee.
Wow.
Yeah. So I would produce, go online. The shop was online. It was on Twitter, it was on Instagram and Facebook before it closed. So people would buy. Actually, the first month, I was like, wow. People were buying my product. My friends and the family and people were buying product. So you can imagine I had not paid rent. So if you're struggling with your business and you're looking for rent, my friend, get your business online. Number two was marketing. I can't afford Sanyu advert, can I? I can't.
We're getting
when
there.
I'm small. No. Now I can. But when you're small and you're starting, you do not have the marketing budget. How many even companies have marketing budgets? We even see these giants. When you see them in boardrooms with their marketing team, they will be discussing and saying, no, cut it down. So imagine when you're a startup, you do not have the marketing budget, but you have access to a phone, access to data, access to all these platforms. Just download those platforms and use them.
Yeah.
And then now number 3 is you learn a lot with your phone. I can tell you, people will not tell you what your company is about to do, but you can research with your phone. You can just type in, and now it is easy with AI.
Yes.
What do I need to do when I'm starting up a coffee company? It will help you.
Yes.
So me as Jada Coffee, that's how I started, from online, and then we opened our shop after 2 years. You can imagine. So we saved ourselves rent, the marketing budget, and also employees. You're the CEO, you're the sales, you're the marketing, you're the delivery guy, you're everything.
You were eating all the profits.
So instead of you saying, I want to be this big, no, start small. You are in the world, and that's why I think the government should open Facebook, because I remember most businesses, they lost their customers because of Facebook. They even closed. So with the digital, to the young people, you want to start up your company. You don't even have to run a company. When you're old, you know, some people be like, you can run your company where you're seated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why be on Facebook and TikTok?
Yeah.
You can actually
now some
use that
other
to
people
market.
want to be like, when I retire, that's when I'll start up a company. Why are you waiting to retire yet? You can run your company, open for it a platform, and sell your product or services there. You don't have to do that. But also technology has come in a way in terms of management.
Yes.
I do not have to have all these reports. They have business management kind of systems. You buy, you purchase, and you will see everything from there. You will know your stock, you will know how much you're making a year. You do not have to write down, this is what I'm making this. No. So technology is... it's good for your business, especially now. You can sell your product to USA without traveling. You can book yourself a meeting with a big person through online without you traveling. It's Zoom meetings.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you have worn so many hats. CEO, I could say media personality and all that. So what leadership lessons have you learned along the way, and how do you stay adaptable in the different industries? Because I can see you doing it all. So
I think one is to understand that you're not smart, and 2 is to understand that you're smart. And how does that work? You need to be able to unlearn and learn.
Yes.
In most cases, I think the biggest challenge that I had, which I dropped about 6 years ago, was thinking it's my way. It's either my way or my way. So that will be so hard for you to adapt. You need to know that there are people that will teach you, and you don't need to think that, oh, you mean can an Ascal teach me something? Yes, they can.
Yeah.
So in leadership, you need to understand that you are wrong and accept. Or sometimes you need help, accept help.
Yes.
Then also reading. You need to start reading. You can't be there and you say, I don't want to read. I don't want to. You can choose any reading material, or even if you don't like reading, you can choose to watch, documentaries, or ask someone. I see a lot of information on TikTok. There's some accounts that I follow, and just 1 minute listening to that person, you're like, wow, I didn't know that.
So much,
So, but also importantly is that when you're a leader, there's so many challenges. So you need to learn how to solve challenges. You cannot just be a leader and with just a title. And not all of us are meant to be servants, and not all of us are meant to be masters. So ask yourself, am I a master or am I a servant? You might force yourself being a master, but you're practically a servant. And if you do not understand who you are, I can tell you your life will be shattered. So understand, are you the kind of person that takes orders or are you the person that gives orders? What kind of a person are you in leadership?
Yeah.
You can be a leader at a servant level, where, for example, I think you've seen people who can be like, I can lead my team to do A, B, C, D, but I need another person to supervise me. That means you're a leader, but at servant level. Then we have these masters that can be like, I can organize a team, I can give it what to do, I can guide it, I can always guide a team, but I don't like taking orders from anyone. So understand who you are as a leader.
Well, running a business isn't, always smooth. How do you share? Can you share a moment when things got really tough? And how did you manage to turn things around? Because they say every business has that moment where you feel like, oh my God. Can we just flash back a little bit to the humble beginnings of Jada?
So remember how I told you the first month my business was selling?
Yes.
And I was excited.
Yes.
So I realized after 2 months, guys were just buying my product just to be supportive.
What?
So
They were not using it?
No, they were using it, but when you've just started, people are excited about your product. So they are purchasing. So they're like, oh, bring the product. So after 3 months, the sales went down. So I was like, what? And how do I get over this?
Yes.
So I was like, Jackie, like I told you, once I say I'm going to pass through that wall, I will. I said, hang in there, let's do this. And that's when I started going hard on digital. Hard, like really, really hard, knocking on offices. Number 2 is I was expanding. A company was expanding and we had saved a lot of money.
Yes.
And then I went and I signed a contract with the owner of the house. It was a standalone.
Yes.
And I started renovating the place. We invested in the money. And guess what? After 3-4 months of renovations, I saw the house in the newspaper. So
oh my God.
The owner also called me and said, Jackie, the bank is taking the house.
Oh
I said,
my God.
Okay. We have invested all our savings in this house.
Yes.
Where do I go from here? So I think God plays a very important role in our lives. I asked God, were you in this or you were not in this? I need to know whether this was my only decision. Then my lawyer told me, Jack, I told you that you were supposed to bring that contract to me. But sometimes my lawyer plays it hard. Like, so there are some things I need to be done, and he takes longer. So like he keeps on, but this is the lesson I learned, that my lawyer is always right. I have to always take my contracts to my lawyer. So how do I recover from losing over, I think I lost about 85 ma. Imagine.
My God.
That was my biggest blow.
Yeah.
I sat down with him and he said he's going to compensate me only for renovations, no rents. The rent was gone.
Oh my God.
So I took a break. So I've learned that sometimes you have to take a break. So I had to pause and say, I'm not going in. Let me first stabilize here. So it's not all about putting a foot in front of the other. Sometimes you just have to stand still and say, okay, what is happening around me?
Yes.
And take a break. Go off. Have your days off a week or 2 weeks. Because sometimes your mental health can make you make blunders. I almost wanted to close the company. Believe me, I woke up and I was like, I can't lose all that money. I'm a young company. I'm a startup. I can't lose all that money. So what do I take from here? Take a break. Whether it's Allah, whether it is God, you need God in your business.
Oh, yes.
And you need to tell God, God, speak to me. Speak to me. Are you in this? And if it's not, believe me, there will be signs. I know people say there will be signs when I'm rich. There will be signs when God speaks to you. Yeah.
Well, what's next for Jacklene Arinda? 2025 is already here, but what's next for Jada Coffee and all that?
What next for Jacklene Arinda is one, I have now ventured into family, so I guess on my personal side, I'm giving more time to my family.
Yes.
And for Jada Coffee, believe me, we are going big. The next thing you will hear is that Jada Coffee will be among the top 10 exporters in Uganda.
Amazing.
I'm telling you, within 2-3 years, Jada Coffee must be among the top 10 exporters of coffee.
I already see. You've prophesied it, and it's going to happen.
And I'll come back here. Promise me you will host me when it happens.
Definitely. But well, someone was asking, how do they get your coffee? Any contacts? So how do they reach?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, you can reach us. We have offices in Ntinda. I have worked in media, so I don't want to be fined before I woke up. So the building is opposite Aponye building, because when I mention it, it's a business. It's on the second floor. Or you can contact us through 772-580-144. Alternatively, go to our website. It has our entire address there, and we're glad to serve you.
Well, we're having Martin saying he's looking for you. Martin is posting something on our WhatsApp saying, I'm trying to get her to talk about business, but you play so hard to get. So
you can imagine how many people contact me that they want to meet.
Yes.
And remember, I have a business to run. So if I spend almost 24 hours speaking to people, who will run my business?
I know, right?
So I'm not hard to get. I'm just available, but available at my own time. If you can come to my company, that's good. If you come to office, I'll attend to you. But if you ask me to find you where you are, please.
Last remarks to your clients of Jada Coffee.
One, I want to thank you because you've been with us for the past 5 years, and we are growing, and you've been patient with us, and without you, we wouldn't be here.
Yes.
But we want to also be like, if you've been taking 2 cups a day, increase to 5 cups, because coffee is the way to go. More coffee, more years.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for coming through, Jacklene. It's been
Thank you
amazing having you. I've learned so much about coffee and friendship. Huh?